Chapter 1. Screech, screech. Captain, it's not good. We've lost contact with the tower. Screech, try another channel. Tried it, it's no use at all. Screech. What about the satellite phone? It seems our signal is being jammed. We've lost all contact with the outside world. Switch to navigation mode, and do not interrupt communication with the tower. Yes, tower, screech. Report the data. Altitude, 11,000 meters, pressure XX, wind speed XX, airspeed. Oh no, all electronic equipment has failed. Only the physical measuring instruments are still working. Our current position. Previously east longitude XX, north latitude XX, deep in the Atlantic. We are at an altitude of over 10,000 meters. If the plane crashes, no one will survive. We can only slow down, reduce altitude, report data at any time, and continue to try contacting the outside. Understood. Altitude 10,000 meters, airspeed XX. Altitude 9,000 meters. 8,000 meters. Quickly inform the passengers. It's too late. Buzz. Buzz. What's that sound? Seems like the sound of electromagnetic waves. Probably the luggage compartment. Buzz, screech, failure 1,000 meters, cannot, buzz. Screech, screech, bang, boom. A screech, screech. On the vast, boundless sea, the waves sparkled. A bright moon gradually rose from the eastern sea horizon, faintly illuminating a small island. The island was over 200 square meters. Rather than a small island, it was more like a reef. A figure was prostrate on the sand, half their body submerged in the sea. They dazedly opened their eyes. Who am I? What happened to me? Where am I? Slowly crawling onto the shore, the person sat up and shook their head vigorously, finally recalling what had happened. Ethan Blackwood, deputy captain of security for a certain company, formerly a Special Forces soldier retired from a certain airborne unit in the southeast military region of Hua Nation. After retirement, he was assigned to Jiangluan Group as security and was promoted to deputy captain of security in less than a month. He was mainly responsible for training, and his work was relatively relaxed, without the need for guard duty or patrols. Recently, Jiangluan Group expanded overseas, requiring the transfer of some core personnel to Africa to develop business. The company's president, along with some core members from various departments, took a plane to a certain country in Africa. Initially, the security department was not supposed to go, but the head of the security section suggested at a company meeting that since Africa was frequently in conflict and public safety could not be guaranteed, it was requested that several security personnel accompany them, and recommended the security captain lead the team. After discussion at the meeting, it was unanimously approved. The department heads handed the lists to the chairman. The company's chairman, Charles Lancaster, made the final decision, stating that the deputy captain of security had recently retired from the military and was more than capable of handling security. The original security captain's name was changed to Ethan Blackwood, and the matter was settled. Of course, Ethan Blackwood was unaware of the company meeting. Ethan Blackwood stood up, feeling weak all over. He slowly adjusted and surveyed his surroundings. The area was over 200 square meters. The spot where he stood was a sandy beach of about a few square meters. The rest was all reefs. The island was barren, with no vegetation. Walking along the coastline would not take more than 10 minutes. Damn it! He cursed and sat down heavily. Burying his head in his knees, he clutched his hair with his hands. After sitting for about 10 minutes, he suddenly stood up. I must survive. Having survived a disaster, there must be good fortune to come. Heaven gave me talents, they must be of use. Getting carried away, he focused on how to survive. He fumbled in his pockets. His cigarettes and lighter had been confiscated by airport security. He only had his ID card, a passport, and half a pack of tissues, which were soaked by the seawater. On his wrist was a watch of very good quality, emitting a faint glow. The time was 11:42 at night. He was wearing a security special training uniform and a pair of special training leather boots. He had nothing else. More than 10 hours had passed since the plane crash. He expected search and rescue teams would arrive soon. He needed to find a way to save himself first. Survival was the most important thing. His stomach rumbled. He decided to look for something to eat. He decided to circle the coastline. Starting from the left, he would check under rocks in the crevices of the reefs for seafood. The reefs on the left were relatively low. As he climbed onto a reef, he was suddenly attracted by a reflection on the sea surface. Looking up, he saw a floating object gleaming with metallic light on the sea. It was about 200 meters away. Upon seeing it, Ethan Blackwood dove straight in. Swimming closer, he realized it was a piece of a foam cooler covered with tin foil, and Flight Attendant was lying on it, unconscious. Ethan Blackwood quickly dragged the foam and pulled the Flight Attendant ashore. He checked for breathing. She was still alive. Disregarding everything else, he focused on saving her. He pressed on her chest and administered CPR. Finally, the flight attendant coughed violently. Cough, cough. You're awake. The flight attendant slowly opened her eyes, looked at Ethan Blackwood, then looked around. She asked weakly, "Where is this?" "I don't know either. We all fell from the plane. We are in the sea on a small island." The flight attendant slowly sat up, taking in her surroundings. She knew Ethan Blackwood had saved her. Chapter 2. "Thank you," the flight attendant said. "You're welcome. We're all in the same boat. We should help each other." "Is there any water? I'm so thirsty." "No, look at our situation. How could we have water?" "Can you still walk? Are you all right?" Ethan Blackwood saw that the flight attendant was wearing her uniform, with stockings on her long legs and high heels. Fortunately, her shoes hadn't fallen off. The flight attendant, seeing Ethan Blackwood staring at her and looking her up and down, blushed. "I'm fine, not injured, and my body is okay." "All right, let's search along the coast and see if we can find anything to eat." "Okay." Ethan Blackwood reached out to help the flight attendant up. She blushed and extended her hand, allowing him to pull her to her feet. "I'm Ethan Blackwood. What's your name?" "I'm Lily Everhart," the flight attendant replied, looking down. "Haha, we're very fated." "Our names both contain Yuan. Mine means source," Ethan Blackwood said. "MMM. Let's start searching from the left." "Okay." The two walked towards the left. After a while, Ethan Blackwood noticed the silence behind him. He turned to see Lily Everhart carefully walking on the reef, and only then did he realize. "Sorry, I forgot you're wearing high heels." Lily Everhart's face turned red again, and she looked down without speaking. "Why don't you rest here for a bit? I'll go look around. It's not that big here." Lily Everhart said shyly. "All right, this place is small enough to see from end to end. I'll be back soon." "Thank you." "No problem." Ethan Blackwood walked towards the reef by the sea. He found 2 empty mineral water bottles in the crevices of the rocks and continued his search, carrying the bottles. He flipped over rocks and peered into crevices. He found a few small crabs, but they were too small and not suitable for eating raw. He then found some oysters on the rocks, which were quite large. He picked up a stone and knocked one loose. In less than half an hour, he had circled the coast and collected over a dozen oysters, all of them large. They should be enough to fill their stomachs. "Here, let's eat these first," Ethan Blackwood said, cracking open an oyster and offering it to Lily Everhart. "Thank you." Soon they finished all the oysters. "They're delicious, so fresh." "It would be even better with some chili sauce," Ethan Blackwood commented. "Hee hee, these are truly wild. I've never eaten such delicious oysters before," Lily Everhart laughed. "MMM, you can't get these in the city, but I've eaten plenty of wild things." "Oh, what do you do?" "I'm just a security guard." "So, you must be very wealthy." "What are you talking about? I'm dirt poor." "I used to be in the army, and during field training, we often went for days without food, so I had to catch wild animals myself and eat them raw." What did you eat raw? Big ones like wild rabbits, rats, snakes. Small ones like grasshoppers, ants, earthworms. Stop! You're making me want to throw up. Lily Everhart interrupted Ethan Blackwood, who was enthusiastically describing his experiences. Apologies, Ethan Blackwood said awkwardly. What branch of the military were you in? How could you eat that? Lily Everhart asked after a while. Field Army Infantry. I don't believe you. Really? A silence fell between them. Ethan Blackwood lay on the beach, resting his head on his arms, looking at the moon in the sky. Lily Everhart imitated Ethan Blackwood, resting her head on her arms and gazing at the moon. After a moment, she turned to look at him and found him truly handsome, especially his deep eyes that seemed to draw in all the light. What are you thinking about? Chapter 3. It's past midnight, and it's the Mid-Autumn Festival today, Ethan Blackwood said. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival, Lily Everhart replied. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Let's get some sleep. It'll be dawn soon and maybe rescue teams will arrive. Okay. Both of them, drowsy, drifted off to sleep. As dawn broke, Ethan Blackwood woke up. He opened his eyes, looked at his wrist, and saw it was 6:10. Turning his head, he saw Lily Everhart curled up and sleeping soundly. He quickly got up, took off his jacket and draped it over her. He walked to the seaside, scooped up some seawater and rinsed his mouth. Then he gazed out at the sea. Suddenly, he spotted a suitcase floating on the sea. He immediately took off his shoes, then his clothes and pants, and plunged into the sea wearing only his underwear. The suitcase was 300 to 400 meters away. If he didn't retrieve it soon, it would drift further out. At this moment, Lily Everhart also woke up. She opened her eyes and saw the jacket on her. Her heart filled with gratitude. She looked around. No one was there. She quickly stood up and scanned the surroundings, but still no one. She only saw shoes and clothes. Where did he go? Had he been eaten by wild beasts? But there were no wild beasts here. Could he have abandoned me and left? What a scoundrel. Tears welled up in her eyes. Yuan. Just then, she heard someone calling her from the sea. She looked up and saw Ethan Blackwood swimming towards her, dragging a suitcase. She hurried over and threw herself into his arms, crying, I thought you'd left. Waya. Hes, how could I? I wouldn't leave you behind. Waya. All right, stop crying. Look what I found. It was then that Lily Everhart noticed Ethan Blackwood wasn't wearing any clothes, and her face instantly turned red all the way to her neck. Oh my, why you hurry up and put your clothes on. Okay. Ethan Blackwood quickly ran over and hastily put on his clothes. He even has 8-pack abs, Lily Everhart thought. Gosh, Lily Everhart. What are you thinking? Her face flushed even redder. Ethan Blackwood, now dressed, walked over and picked up the suitcase. He said to Lily Everhart, Come on, let's go over there and see what's inside. The two walked to the beach and placed the suitcase down to examine it. Fortunately, the suitcase wasn't a combination lock. Ethan Blackwood quickly opened it. They both looked inside simultaneously. Inside were some men's clothes, a pair of canvas shoes, and a pair of sneakers, all men's sizes, size 42, which fit him perfectly. There was also a toiletry bag containing a bar of soap, a bottle of facial cleanser, a bottle of shower gel, and a portable toothbrush set. He also found a rechargeable electric razor. Additionally, there was a phone charger and cable. He dug deeper and found a set of keys with a multi-tool fruit knife attached. Then, Ethan Blackwood opened another zipper and discovered some medicine inside. He opened a smaller zipper, and Ethan Blackwood saw a box. He took it out to see Durex. Lily Everhart's face turned red again. She grabbed the box, intending to throw it away, but Ethan Blackwood quickly stopped her. Don't throw it away. We might need it. Pa, pervert. Lily Everhart turned and walked away. Why am I a pervert? Ethan Blackwood was completely bewildered. As he spoke, he put the box back, and inside he found a stack of cash over 10,000 yuan. What size shoes do you wear? Ethan Blackwood shouted to Lily Everhart. The beach was vast, and Lily Everhart had gone to the reef, sitting on a rock, sulking. She didn't reply to his call. Ethan Blackwood found a black tracksuit in the suitcase and took it out. He walked over to Lily Everhart and handed her the clothes. Chapter 4. HMPH, how am I supposed to change? Lily Everhart asked, feigning anger. You can change behind that reef over there. I won't peek, Ethan Blackwood said, pointing to a large rock. HMPH! Lily Everhart snatched the clothes and cautiously walked behind the reef. Ethan Blackwood then took the fruit knife off his keychain and went to find food on the other side. After prying open over a dozen oysters and collecting 4 sea urchins, he returned with 2 empty mineral water bottles. He saw Lily Everhart sitting on the beach, gazing out at the sea. Lily, let's eat something, he said. Okay. Ethan Blackwood sat down next to Lily Everhart and pried open an oyster, handing it to her. They finished the oysters in no time. Ethan Blackwood then opened a sea urchin. The roe inside was very plump. He opened the rest and handed 2 to Lily Everhart. Be careful, don't cut your hand. How do I eat this? Lily Everhart asked, wrinkling her brows as she took it. I'll show you in a moment, Ethan Blackwood said, finding a longer key and cleaning it in the seawater. He handed the fruit knife to Lily Everhart, picked up a sea urchin, and used the key to scoop out a piece of roe, bringing it to his mouth. Wow, it's so delicious. This sea urchin is so big. Use the knife to scoop out the roe inside and eat it. Lily Everhart followed Ethan Blackwood's example, using the small knife to scoop out the sea urchin roe and taking a bite. Delicious. Soon they finished eating and the sun had risen. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Can we find fresh water? Lily Everhart asked, her face flushing. We really are facing a freshwater crisis, Ethan Blackwood said, standing up and looking around. Lily, I'll go up there to take a look. Wait for me, Ethan Blackwood said, pointing to a reef. Okay. This reef was the highest point, about 10 meters tall. Below it were several lower rocks, forming a natural slope. Ethan Blackwood climbed up the slope. There was a pool of water in the reef, but not much, only enough to fill 2 mineral water bottles. However, the water was very dirty, and small insects could be seen swimming in it. Ethan Blackwood dipped a finger in to taste it. It was fresh water, likely collected rainwater that hadn't evaporated yet. Lily, we've found fresh water, Ethan Blackwood shouted down to Lily Everhart. Ah, really? Hurry and pull me up. Lily Everhart ran towards him. Slow down, don't fall. Ah! Just as he said that, Lily Everhart screamed and fell to the ground. Ethan Blackwood saw this and quickly ran down, rushing to Lily Everhart's side and helping her up. How are you? Are you all right? I twisted my ankle and my arm really hurts too, Lily Everhart said, tears welling up in her eyes. Let me take a look, Ethan Blackwood said, helping Lily Everhart to sit down. Which arm? Lily Everhart extended her left hand. Woo-woo-woo, this one, woo-woo-woo. Ethan Blackwood held Lily Everhart's delicate hand with his right hand and gently rolled up her sleeve with his left. Bear with me, he said, slowly revealing her fair and tender forearm. There was only a slight bruise and a minor scrape. It's all right, I'll put some medicine on it later. Which foot did you sprain? Woo-woo-woo, it's my left foot too, woo-woo-woo, she said, extending her left foot. Ethan Blackwood sat opposite Lily Everhart, placing her left foot on his thigh. He took off her high-heeled shoe, revealing her slender, delicate foot. Her outer ankle was already swollen. Woo-woo-woo, will I become lame? Lily Everhart asked, looking at Ethan Blackwood with tear-filled eyes. Don't worry, you won't. It's just a sprain. Your bone isn't injured. Saying this, Ethan Blackwood gently pressed her ankle with his finger and asked, Does it hurt here? No, it doesn't. He then tested a few more spots. Only one area caused pain, and Ethan Blackwood understood what had happened. Chapter 5. Lily Everhart's face flushed red. Ethan Blackwood looked up at her and suddenly pointed behind her, saying, Look, a boat. Lily Everhart turned her head in surprise. At that moment, Ethan Blackwood held Lily Everhart's ankle in one hand and her small foot in the other. With a push and release, there was a crack. "Ah!" Lily Everhart screamed. "Stop shouting, there's no boat." "I wasn't shouting about a boat, I was shouting because it hurts," Lily Everhart said indignantly, tears still on her cheeks. "Then try walking, see if it still hurts." "Huh, it doesn't hurt anymore." Lily Everhart wiggled her foot and smiled. "I didn't know you had such skill." "Well, I often go for foot massages and learned from the masseuses. When I have time, I'll give you a foot bath package. Not 398, not 298, just 98. Lily Everhart was initially bewildered, then suddenly realized what he meant. "Pa." "You hooligan," she exclaimed, her face turning a deep red with embarrassment. "Stand up and try walking, see if it still hurts." Ethan Blackwood helped Lily Everhart up. She took 2 limping steps. "No, my left foot can't seem to bear weight." "It's okay, it'll be fine in a day. Let me carry you over." Ethan Blackwood pointed towards their suitcase on the beach. He then bent down, presenting his back to Lily Everhart. Lily Everhart, her face flushed with embarrassment, slowly climbed onto his back, wrapping her arms around Ethan Blackwood's neck. Ethan Blackwood stood up, supporting Lily Everhart's thighs from underneath, and walked them to the suitcase, gently setting her down. Lily Everhart sat on the ground. Ethan Blackwood opened the suitcase, found a box of bandages, and tore one open. "Here, let me put this on for you." He then took Lily Everhart's left hand and carefully applied the bandage to the wound on her arm. "Thank you." "You're welcome, we help each other. Wait for me here." Ethan Blackwood picked up 4 bottles of mineral water and a fruit knife and walked towards the reef. Reaching the reef, he used the knife to cut a bottle of mineral water in half, discarding the top part and keeping the bottom to use as a cup. He scooped water from a puddle into the bottle, filling 2 bottles completely, though the water was a bit murky. Ethan Blackwood returned with the water. He searched the suitcase for a pure cotton white t-shirt, unfolded it, and covered the mouth of one of the cups. He then poured water from one of the bottles through the fabric into the cup. Once the cup was full, he picked it up and examined it. "Well, it's drinkable now. Here, make do with this." Ethan Blackwood handed the cup to Lily Everhart. "Thank you." Lily Everhart took it and drank it in one gulp. They shared 1 bottle of water, leaving 1 remaining. Ethan Blackwood said, "Let's save this bottle just in case." "Okay." Ethan Blackwood filtered the remaining water, put it back in the bottles, and stored them in the suitcase. "It's already noon. You rest for a bit, I'll go find something to eat." Ethan Blackwood looked up at the sun. The midday sun was scorching, likely reaching 35 degrees Celsius. "Okay." Lily Everhart's large eyes were fixed on Ethan Blackwood the entire time. Ethan Blackwood walked to the base of the large reef and circled around it. He suddenly discovered a crevice in the rock. It was a large rock leaning against the reef, forming an inverted V shape. The gap was open on both sides, narrower deeper inside and blocked by several large stones. The outside opening was wide, and the space inside was about 8 to 9 square meters, a natural shelter. Ethan Blackwood hurried back. "Lily, quickly, quickly, let's go over there. There's a crevice there that people can stay in. We won't have to worry about the wind and sun." "Really?" "Yes, come on, I'll carry you over." Ethan Blackwood quickly carried Lily Everhart over. "Wow, it's quite cool in here," Lily Everhart said, sitting inside. Ethan Blackwood then moved the suitcase inside and stood up, wiping the sweat from his brow. "I'm going to find food. Wait for me here." Chapter 6. Ethan Blackwood walked along the rocky coast, prying off a few oysters and putting them in his pocket. He spotted a 5-liter plastic peanut oil barrel wedged in a rock crevice. It was empty and covered in oil. He quickly picked it up, opened the lid, filled it with seawater, added a handful of sand, and shook it vigorously to clean it. He then used a knife to cut 2 large, symmetrical holes in the upper part so he could carry it. He placed the oysters inside the barrel and circled the coast again, returning with the oil barrel and half a bucket of seafood. "Wow, so much seafood." and I found 2 barrels. There were over a dozen oysters, 2 sea urchins, several mussels, and 1 large whelk. The whelk was tough, so Ethan Blackwood smashed it with a rock. He washed the meat clean with seawater and sliced it thinly with a small knife. They shared the whelk and ate the rest of the seafood. "Phew, I'm so full," Lily Everhart said, rubbing her stomach. "You rest for a bit. I'm going to check things out up there," Ethan Blackwood said, spreading out the foam board and gesturing for Lily Everhart to lie down. "Okay." Lily Everhart used a jacket as a pillow and lay down. Ethan Blackwood climbed back onto the rocks and looked around. Suddenly, to the southeast, he saw a hazy shape that looked like an island. It was too far away to see clearly, but he was pretty sure it was an island. Yuanyuan, Yuanyuan, quick, there's an island," Ethan Blackwood shouted down. "Where?" Lily Everhart sat up instantly and ran out, jumping with excitement. "Over there," Ethan Blackwood pointed towards the southeast. Lily Everhart looked and saw a faint gray shadow. "Quick, help me up," she called, waving at Ethan Blackwood. Ethan Blackwood jumped down and asked, "Does your foot still hurt?" "It only hurts a little. It's much better." Ethan Blackwood carefully helped Lily Everhart up the slope. They both gazed towards the southeast. "It's likely an island." "There are many submerged and exposed reefs around islands," Ethan Blackwood said. "You know quite a lot." "Heh, Ethan Blackwood scratched his head. "We need to find a way to get there. We can't last long here. If the tide comes in, we'll be drowned." "How do we get there?" "Swim. Can you swim?" "I can, but not very far." "All right, we'll swim over tomorrow." "Won't there be sharks in the sea?" "I can't guarantee that. It's up to luck. We don't know when the rescue team will arrive, and we can't just wait here to die. The seafood here will be gone soon, and there's no fresh water." "Okay." "Eating all this raw isn't great. I'll go down and find something to eat and dry it out. We can eat it on the way tomorrow. Do you want to rest down there?" "You go ahead. I'll sit here for a while." Ethan Blackwood jumped down and took the oil barrel to the seashore to look around. Lily Everhart sat for a while, watching Ethan Blackwood tapping something on the rocks by the sea. A sweet smile touched her lips. After watching for a bit, she stood up and carefully climbed down. She slowly walked onto the beach, took off her high heels and placed them aside. Barefoot, she walked to the water's edge, rolled up her trouser legs high to reveal her slender calves, and took out her stockings from her pocket, rinsing them in the seawater. Suddenly, her foot stepped on something. She reached down and pulled it out. It was a clam, and it was a good size. She quickly ran ashore, placed her stockings on a rock to dry, and then ran back. She slowly felt around with her feet and soon bent down to pick up another clam. Lily Everhart was so happy she jumped. About half an hour later, Ethan Blackwood came back carrying the oil barrel. Seeing Lily Everhart jumping and laughing, he asked, "What are you doing?" Chapter 7. "Look, what's this?" Lily Everhart pulled a handful of clams from her pocket and handed them to Ethan Blackwood, showing them off. "Great." Hee. Lily Everhart took another handful of clams from her other pocket and handed them over. Ethan Blackwood took them and put them in the oil barrel. "These are white clams. The patterns on them are beautiful. Let's go dry these out." "Okay." They found a flat, large rock and poured all the seafood from the oil barrel onto it. There were over 20 mussels, over 20 oysters, 15 or 16 white clams, 4 or 5 whelks, 4 or 5 spicy snails, and over a dozen other small sea snails. They smashed them with rocks, picked out the meat, and laid it on the rock to dry. "Phew!" Ethan Blackwood stood up and took a breath. "What size shoes do you wear?" "Size 36. Why?" "You rest here. Wait for me for a moment." With that, Ethan Blackwood ran back to the rock shelter, opened the suitcase, found the pair of sneakers, and then found 2 men's underwear. "Hess, I don't care." He tore open the 2 pairs of underwear, pulled out the elastic bands, stuffed the torn fabric into the shoes, laid them out front and back, and handed them to Lily Everhart. Here, try them on. If they don't fit, I'll adjust them. MHM. Lily Everhart took them and put them on, then stood up to try them. Ha, they fit perfectly, you're amazing. Smooch. Lily Everhart pounced on Ethan Blackwood and kissed him on the cheek. Ethan Blackwood touched his face. Sorry, I was just so excited. Thank you. Lily Everhart's face flushed crimson all the way to her neck. Well, I found an eddy over there with a lot of seafood. Let's go get some for dinner, Ethan Blackwood said, pointing east. He then turned and walked away. After a few steps, he looked back. Well, can you carry that barrel for me? He said, and then walked away again. Hee. Lily Everhart covered her burning face and suddenly laughed. She picked up the oil barrel and followed him. Oh dear. Lily Everhart glanced slyly at Ethan Blackwood and called out, My foot still hurts a bit. Oh. Well, maybe you should rest here. I'll go by myself. It's okay. It's only about 10 meters. Well, should I carry you over? No need. Just help me a bit. Lily Everhart thought to herself, HMPH. Still a straight man. Lily Everhart extended her right hand to Ethan Blackwood. Ethan Blackwood had no choice but to reach out and take her hand, helping her walk carefully forward. They reached a small bay, and he helped Lily Everhart sit on a rock. This is the eddy. When the tide comes in, many seafood creatures are washed in, and when the tide goes out, they are blocked by the surrounding rocks, so they can't get out. Oh. You sit here. I'll catch seafood and throw it to you, and you can pack it. Okay. Ethan Blackwood took off his shoes and socks, rolled up his trousers, and slowly waded into the water. The water wasn't deep, reaching only his knees at its deepest. Ethan Blackwood slowly bent over, carefully feeling in the water with his hands. After a while, he found 2 fist-sized whelks and threw them to Lily Everhart. Catch! Ethan Blackwood threw them near Lily Everhart's feet. Ha. Lily Everhart happily picked them up and put them in the oil barrel. Catch! Another fist-sized object flew towards Lily Everhart. They were only 3 or 4 meters apart, and he wasn't throwing it hard. Lily Everhart only realized what it was when it was close. It was a sea urchin. She quickly retracted her outstretched hand. You're the worst. Chapter 8. Ha, Ethan Blackwood roared with laughter. HMPH, you scoundrel. You mean Ethan Blackwood? You stinky Ethan Blackwood. For bullying me. Lily Everhart pouted and crouched by the bay, splashing water at Ethan Blackwood. Ethan Blackwood quickly raised his hands in surrender. I surrender. Mercy, my lady. HMPH? Lily Everhart turned her head away, ignoring him. Ethan Blackwood hurried over, picked up the sea urchin, and brought it to Lily Everhart. Look, this sea urchin's spines aren't sharp. We're this close, and I didn't throw it hard, so it won't prick your hand. But it will hurt a lot. All right, I was wrong. Forgive me, my lady. To let my lady get revenge, I've decided to kill this sea urchin and let my lady eat it raw. Ethan Blackwood menacingly took out his small knife and attacked the sea urchin. I'll show you for bullying Yuanyuan. In just a few moves, he pried open the sea urchin and handed it to Lily Everhart, saying in a high-pitched voice, Your servant has executed the criminal by 1,000 cuts. Your Highness may dine with peace of mind. Hee. Lily Everhart couldn't help but chuckle. She took the sea urchin and the small knife. Your Highness, this servant will now go prepare dinner for your Highness. Ha. Lily Everhart put on a serious face again and said, Little Yuan, I am tired. You may withdraw. Yes, your Highness. Ethan Blackwood quickly bowed and retreated. Ha. Ethan Blackwood went back into the bay to catch more seafood. Lily Everhart ate the sea urchin in a few bites. Ethan Blackwood felt a sea cucumber and threw it over. Lily Everhart caught it. Sea cucumber, it's a sea cucumber, wild sea cucumber, Lily Everhart exclaimed. MHM, this is called a sea cucumber, a type of sea cucumber. Lily Everhart stopped sitting and squatted by the bay, watching. The water in the bay was very clear, and she could see the bottom at a glance. After a while, she pointed to one side. There's a sea urchin. Then to another side. Quick, there's a whelk there. Look, there's a big lobster. Lily Everhart pointed to one spot. SHH. Quietly, Ethan Blackwood cautiously approached and slowly moved his hands towards the lobster. Suddenly, he grabbed its back and lifted it up. Ha ha ha! Ethan Blackwood burst into laughter. Yeah, Lily Everhart jumped up and down, waving her hands. Ethan Blackwood quickly ran ashore and put the large lobster into the oil barrel. This lobster was as big as a small arm. He returned to the bay and caught some more sea urchins and whelks. All right, I'm not catching any more. The remaining fish, shrimp, and crabs are not suitable for eating raw. Let's go back. Okay, Lily Everhart was very happy. Ethan Blackwood glanced at his watch. It was past 6 o'clock. He filled the oil barrel with some seawater and helped Lily Everhart return to the stone cave. They peeled and sliced the large lobster and ate it, along with a few sea urchins and whelks, and were full. I need to relieve myself, Lily Everhart said, her face flushed with shyness. Then you can go behind that rock. I'll go check on the dried seafood, Ethan Blackwood said, handing her a pack of tissues. Oh, okay, thank you. Lily Everhart took the tissues and walked behind the rocks. Ethan Blackwood picked up a t-shirt and walked to where the seafood was drying. The seafood had dried. He wrapped the dried seafood in the t-shirt. Seeing the stockings drying on the side, he took them as well. He put the wrapped seafood aside, and at that moment, Lily Everhart returned. He handed her the stockings. Lily Everhart took them with a red face and put them in her pocket. I'm going to sit on the rocks for a while. Are you coming? Let's go together. Ethan Blackwood took Lily Everhart's hand, and they sat side by side on the rocks. The sky wasn't completely dark yet, and the moon had risen. A gentle breeze blew, feeling quite cool. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival, Ethan Blackwood said. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Ethan Blackwood rested his head on his arms and looked at the moon. Lily Everhart followed suit and lay down. Chapter 9. The sky gradually darkened, but the moon was round and bright. In the moonlight, they could see everything around them. They lay quietly on the rocks, gazing at the moon. Brother Yuan, how old are you this year? Lily Everhart called Ethan Blackwood Brother Yuan for the first time, feeling a little awkward. I'm 23. How about you? I'm 21. What do you do? I served in the army for 5 years. I retired at the end of last year and have been back for over half a year. I couldn't find a job, so my former superior officer asked me to work as a security guard at a company. I'd only been there for less than 2 months when the company started expanding overseas operations, and they organized some core personnel to go to Africa to set up the branch company framework. That's when all these things happened. I still don't understand why they would need a small security guard like me to set up a branch company. Do you miss home? I miss my parents. I'm an orphan. I grew up in an orphanage. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Do you have a girlfriend? Lily Everhart turned to look at Ethan Blackwood. No. At that moment, a figure flashed through Ethan Blackwood's mind. A girl with pigtails, bright eyes, standing under a big tree at the orphanage entrance, wiping away tears with one hand, waving with the other, crying out. Brother, you must come back and find Zionai. Unconsciously, a tear rolled down his eye. Lily Everhart didn't notice. The wind began to pick up. Let's go down, I'm a bit cold, Lily Everhart said. Ethan Blackwood sat up and looked into the distance. The waves were getting bigger. A white line was rolling towards them from afar, a big wave. Not good, the tide is coming in, quick, go down and pack our things, Ethan Blackwood shouted. Ah, Lily Everhart stood up, looking bewildered. Quick. Don't just stand there. Ethan Blackwood quickly pulled her along. There was a small platform about 2 meters above the ground on the slope. Ethan Blackwood said, You wait here. With that, he jumped down. He quickly ran back to the stone cave, grabbed the suitcase and an oil barrel, ran back, and threw them onto the platform. Catch! He ran back again, picked up the foam board and another oil barrel and threw them up. He went back to the cave to get a few mineral water bottles. Seeing that there was nothing left, he climbed onto the rocks. By then, the seawater had already reached the stone cave and was rising at a visible rate. They both carried their belongings to the top of the rocks. "Will the seawater rise up here?" Lily Everhart asked. "No." "How do you know?" "Because I found fresh water up here." "Oh," Lily Everhart pondered and understood. After a while, the wind subsided, and the waves gradually calmed down. The seawater receded to about 5 or 6 meters below them and stopped rising. "I'm so thirsty." "MHM, drink a little less." "We need to save more for tomorrow." Ethan Blackwood took out the filtered water, unscrewed the cap, and handed it to Lily Everhart. "Okay." Lily Everhart took 2 sips, and handed it back. Ethan Blackwood took it without looking and took a sip directly from the bottle. "Isn't this an indirect kiss?" Lily Everhart's face turned red with shyness. Ethan Blackwood opened the suitcase and took out a jacket, draping it over Lily Everhart. "Thank you," Lily Everhart said, her face red, lowering her head, her voice as soft as a mosquito's whine. Ethan Blackwood spread out the foam board and said, "We can only make do here tonight. You rest for a bit." "MHM." Lily Everhart curled up on the foam board. Ethan Blackwood found a suit in the suitcase and covered Lily Everhart with it. Ethan Blackwood stood up and looked around. The seawater was slowly receding. It was now 7 or 8 meters below them. The cave was still submerged. Suddenly, he saw something floating in the sea. In the moonlight, he could see a hazy shape about 200 meters away. Chapter 10. Ethan Blackwood quickly took off his shoes and clothes and plunged into the sea, swimming towards the floating object. Lily Everhart lay down for a while and felt that there was no sound. She looked up. Where did he go? She stood up suspiciously and looked around, then saw Ethan Blackwood swimming in the sea. He was getting close to the floating object. She couldn't help but smile. Cupping her hands around her mouth, she shouted at Ethan Blackwood. "Ethan Blackwood, go, go, Ethan Blackwood." Ethan Blackwood in the sea felt a vein throbbing in his forehead. "I'm not in a competition." As he got closer, he discovered it was a blue backpack. His heart leaped with joy. He grabbed it and swam back. When he reached the rocks, Lily Everhart was still shouting. All right, stop shouting." Ethan Blackwood climbed to the top, opened the suitcase, found a disposable towel from a corner, and roughly wiped his hair and body. He put on his clothes. "Open it and see what's inside." "HMPH, I know you have abs showing off," Lily Everhart muttered. Ethan Blackwood opened the backpack. Inside, he found a few women's clothes, a pair of women's travel shoes, all soaked. There was also a sealed plastic box, a storage container. The backpack probably didn't sink because of the box's buoyancy. Additionally, there was a pack of chocolate and some cookies. He took out the box. There were 4 clasps on each side. Upon opening it, he found several bottles of cosmetics and a toiletry bag containing a bar of soap, a comb, toothpaste, toothbrush, and so on. In a small zippered compartment of the backpack, he found some medicine and several thousand yuan in cash. There was also a roll of toilet paper and a pack of sanitary napkins. He took all the items out and laid them aside to dry. Well, this backpack is yours from now on." "MHM." Lily Everhart's face turned red again. Ethan Blackwood raised his wrist and checked the time. "It's 12 o'clock. Let's rest. We still have to go to that island tomorrow." He took out 2 pairs of pants from the suitcase, rolled them up to use as pillows, and lay down. "MHM, you sleep first," Lily Everhart said. Then she started looking through the plastic box, which was full of cosmetics and toiletries. Ethan Blackwood paid no attention to her and fell asleep shortly after. The next morning, as dawn broke, Ethan Blackwood woke up. He raised his hand and checked his watch. It was just 6 o'clock. This was a habit formed during his army days. He woke up precisely at 6 every day. He got up and looked around. Lily Everhart was sleeping soundly, covered by the suit. By then, the sea had already receded. He opened his suitcase, took the toiletry bag, jumped off the rocks, and went behind a large stone to take care of his personal needs. Then he walked onto the beach and to the seashore. He cupped some seawater to rinse his mouth, squeezed some toothpaste onto his finger, and brushed his teeth directly with his finger. He felt it wasn't right to use the toothbrush inside, so after brushing his teeth, he washed his face with the soap. He then returned to the stone cave, put down the toiletry bag, and climbed onto the rocks. He tidied up everything that was drying, moved it all into the stone cave, and then sat down, looking out at the distant sea. After a while, the eastern sky gradually lit up with dawn clouds, which were very beautiful and spectacular. Yuanyuan, wake up! Ethan Blackwood turned his head and shouted. Ah, it's daylight. Lily Everhart rubbed her eyes and got up. Come quickly and watch the sunrise. Ah, it's so beautiful. If only I had my phone, I'd love to take a picture. Lily Everhart walked to Ethan Blackwood's side and looked at the dawn clouds in the east. After a while, the sun rose. Ethan Blackwood looked at his watch. Well, let's go down, Ethan Blackwood said. With that, he picked up the suitcase and backpack and walked down. HMPH, silly, doesn't appreciate it. Lily Everhart stuck out her tongue at Ethan Blackwood's retreating back and muttered. Then she picked up the 2 oil barrels and followed Ethan Blackwood down. Ethan Blackwood put down his belongings and returned to the rocks to retrieve the remaining items. You should take off your shoes first and change into those. You should change your clothes too. I'll go prepare by the sea in a moment, Ethan Blackwood said. Chapter 11. Lily Everhart took off her shoes and handed them to Ethan Blackwood. You can go wash up by the sea later. I'll prepare things over here, Ethan said as he took the shoes and pulled out some torn cloth from inside. Okay. Ethan put the shoes into the suitcase, stuffed the torn cloth into his pocket, picked up the foam board and mineral water bottles, and walked out with an oiled drum. Lily quickly opened her backpack and started changing her clothes. Ethan went around to the southeast, found a rock to sit on, and began tearing the cloth into strips. He then tied 3 mineral water bottles and the oiled drum to the 4 corners of the foam board. He put the items down and walked back. Lily was still washing up by the beach when Ethan gathered his clothes and shoes, stuffed them all into the suitcase, and placed it by the foam board. He then tied it to the side of the foam board with the cloth strips. The suitcase was waterproof, so it should be fine. Ethan returned to the stone cave. Lily also returned with the plastic storage box. She had changed into sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt without a jacket, but her figure was fully revealed. Oh, well, let's eat something and then we'll depart, Ethan said, looking away. Okay, Lily replied with a slight smile. Ethan picked up the modified oil drum, which contained seawater with oysters and sea urchins soaking inside. He poured them out, and they finished eating in no time. Let's go, Ethan said, then put the plastic box into his backpack, slung it over his shoulder, and kicked the oil drum away. Okay. They walked to the southeast, where the foam board was. Ethan opened the suitcase and took out a belt. Here, I'll tie this on you so you won't sink, he said, tying the belt to Lily's arm. The oil drum tied to the foam board was secured with a rubber band pulled from his underwear, and he tied the belt to Lily's arm. Take off your shoes, I'll carry you, Ethan said. Okay. They took off their shoes, put them in the backpack, and Ethan, carrying it, shouted, Let's go. The 2 of them, holding the foam board and suitcase, rushed into the sea. Lily laughed. Ha ha ha, we're sailing. They held onto the foam board and suitcase, leisurely swimming southeast. Brother Yuan, do you think there are any survivors on that island? I don't know, but the plane crashed in this area, so there should be. Will we encounter sharks? Ethan found her train of thought a bit hard to follow. Well, we can only rely on luck. Oh, if we meet one, we'll kill it and then roast shark meat and cook shark fins, haha. Ethan was speechless. Do you think the rescue team will find us? They will. Ethan really couldn't keep up with this young beauty's thoughts. Where are we now? I don't know, don't you know? You're a flight attendant. We flight attendants really don't know. The accident just happened so suddenly. Did you hear any unusual sounds, or notice any peculiar people or things back then? I don't think so. I only heard an explosion from the cargo hold and then nothing else, Lily said with a frown. Finally, peace and quiet, Ethan thought as she sank into thought. He then looked around, and to conserve energy, they slowly paddled. Look. That's really an island, Ethan suddenly shouted. Yeah, it really is. Let's swim faster, Lily said happily. The island was indeed large. Due to the angle and distance, it seemed to be 5 to 6 kilometers long. It's 12 o'clock now. Let's eat something to replenish our energy. Then, if we go all out, we should be there in about 2 to 3 more hours, Ethan said, looking at his watch. Chapter 12. Okay, Lily said cheerfully. Ethan opened the suitcase and took out the dried seafood wrapped in a t-shirt. They shared it, and then drank most of the remaining water. They both felt their energy restored and their bodies more comfortable. Let's go, Ethan said. Let's go, let's go. They paddled forward again on the foam board. After paddling for a while, they could see the trees on the island, lush and green. To the north of the island were some reefs. South of the reefs was a beach with a large expanse of grayish-white sand. South of the beach was a high cliff that stood vertically in the sea. Further south, it was blocked by the cliff rocks and couldn't be seen. Look, there's some clothing there, Lily suddenly pointed ahead. They both paddled harder and reached it. Ethan retrieved the clothing. It was a white jacket, torn and with several holes as if ripped by something. There were also bloodstains on it. This is bad. There's a fierce beast nearby. Let's speed up. Ethan threw the clothes away, frowning. Then hurry up and paddle, Lily said. They quickly paddled with all their might. Quick, paddle towards the beach. The water is shallow there, Ethan shouted, looking around the sea. A while later, they found a pair of torn trousers. They just focused on paddling as hard as they could. Suddenly, a huge splash sounded from behind them. Ethan looked back and saw a large shark leap out of the water and then dive back in, the resulting waves pushing them away. Fortunately, they were being pushed towards the shore, which was still more than 200 meters away. Ah, Lily screamed. Forget the foam board, just swim. Ethan broke off a corner of the foam board that was tied to the oil drum and forcefully pushed Lily forward. Lily shot forward 5 to 6 meters, while Ethan retreated 4 to 5 meters. Don't look back, paddle hard, Ethan shouted. Ah! Lily screamed in terror, her hands and feet not daring to stop, paddling hard, her face pale with fear. They were now only 50 meters from the shore. Their feet could already touch the seabed. Lily quickly stood up. The water only reached her waist. She looked back. Ethan was more than 10 meters away, holding the suitcase in his left hand. About 10 meters behind him, a triangular fin protruded from the water, rapidly approaching Ethan. Ah! Lily screamed in fear. Run, don't worry about me. Lily quickly ran towards the shore. She heard a loud bang behind her, followed by a splash. Ethan, holding the suitcase, landed beside her. Ethan stood up, shook his head, grabbed Lily's hand, and ran towards the shore. Finally, they reached the shore and collapsed, lying on the ground, gasping for breath. Ha ha ha! Ethan burst into laughter. Couldn't you have just thrown the suitcase away? You risked your life for belongings, Lily glared at him. You don't understand. This suitcase saved my life. He flipped the suitcase over and saw that one side was cracked in several places. This suitcase has good quality. It must be domestically made. It turned out that when Ethan saw the shark about to collide with him, he seized the opportunity, stood the suitcase up, flipped himself over and twisted, hiding behind the suitcase. The shark headbutted it, sending the person and the suitcase flying. Ethan, with a playful grin, recounted the experience. You're just showing off. Lily gave him another glare. Ethan looked at his watch. It was 3:30. This domestic watch was great. It didn't get wet. Chapter 13. Ethan stood up and surveyed the island. He spotted 3 coconut trees growing together, about 5 to 6 meters apart. Ha-ha, coconuts, Ethan said, pointing at the coconut trees. Where? Lily climbed up and looked. They ran to the base of the trees. Looking up, they saw 7 to 8 coconuts on each tree. They're too high, I can't reach them, Lily said with a disappointed look. Watch me. He spat on his hands, rubbed them together, bit onto his fruit knife, and climbed up barefoot. Ah! Lily watched, dumbfounded, her mouth agape. Ethan had climbed to the top in less than 10 seconds. Stay clear, don't get hit, Ethan shouted. In a moment, 6 large coconuts fell. 2 were left on the trees. Ethan looked around from the tree and suddenly spotted 2 people among the reefs to the north. Hey, over here, come here, Ethan shouted, holding onto the tree with one hand and waving with the other. Lily also looked in that direction but couldn't see anything due to the angle. The 2 people also heard and looked towards them, then started running towards them. Ethan slid down. They sat down. Ethan used his small knife to open 2 coconuts and handed one to Lily. They drank while waiting for the other 2. Soon, the other 2 arrived. Auntie Fang, Lily exclaimed in surprise. President Jiang, Ethan greeted. It turned out that one was a flight attendant from the same crew, and the other was Vivian Lancaster, the beautiful president of the Jiang Group leading overseas business expansion. Lily stood up and took the flight attendant's hand. Auntie Fang, you're still alive, that's great, she said, pulling the flight attendant to sit down. The flight attendant was also very happy, and the 2 of them chattered away. President Jiang, please sit, Ethan said. Vivian Lancaster sat down and saw the coconuts on the ground. Can you give me a coconut? I'll pay you. Hess, no need, Ethan replied. He then used his small knife to open 2 more coconuts and handed them to Vivian Lancaster and the flight attendant. The 2 of them took the coconuts, thanked him, and quickly drank them. Ethan found a rock and smashed the husks of the 4 coconuts, revealing the white flesh inside. He then handed the small knife to Lily and began digging out the coconut flesh with his hands. The 3 of them stared blankly at Ethan. Ethan chuckled, then took out a string of keys, took off 2, and handed them to the flight attendant and Vivian Lancaster. You can use these to scoop and eat, he said. After everyone had finished the coconut flesh, Ethan said, Let's all introduce ourselves. My name is Ethan Blackwood. President Jiang is my boss, and I'm just a small security guard in the company. My name is Grace Whitmore. I'm a flight attendant on this flight, the flight attendant said. My name is Vivian Lancaster, president of Jiang Group, Vivian Lancaster said. My name is Lily Everhart, also a flight attendant on this flight. I'm 21 years old, single. My family is from Quancheng. All right, it's not a blind date. Lily was interrupted by Grace Whitmore before she could finish. Lily's face turned red. Well, wait for me here, I'm going to pick more coconuts, Ethan said. He picked up the small knife, put it in his mouth, and then quickly climbed up 2 other coconut trees and threw the coconuts down. Although Lily had seen it once, she and the other 2 watched in stunned silence. Ethan slid down. Seeing their expressions, he felt speechless for a moment. Then he opened the suitcase, handed Lily her sneakers, and put on his own tactical boots. Well, there are some clothes inside. Lily, could you help them change? Ethan gestured towards the suitcase. Okay. Well, I'm going to look around for something to eat. Ethan slung his backpack over his shoulder, picked up the multi-tool knife, and walked into the jungle with the oil drum. Auntie Fang, Sister Yan, here you go, pick whatever you like. Lily opened the suitcase and said to the 2 women, This is all from dead people, I don't want it. Vivian Lancaster pouted. So fussy, Ethan thought as he walked away. Chapter 14. Don't mind these things. We're surviving on a deserted island, and we don't know when the rescue team will arrive. Besides, we're all wearing short skirts, and there might be poisonous insects and mosquitoes on this island. We lack medicine, so it's not good if we get bitten, Grace Whitmore said. Flight attendants had learned some basic survival knowledge, so she knew how to convince Vivian Lancaster. Vivian Lancaster was wearing a professional suit, a white shirt on top, which was now dirty, a black miniskirt on the bottom, black stockings, and black high heels, accentuating her long legs. Grace Whitmore was wearing a flight attendant uniform with nude stockings and black high heels. Both of them were dirty. All right, stop being so fussy, all of us should change, Lily said, glancing in Ethan's direction. Seeing that Ethan had already entered the jungle, she continued, Okay. Vivian Lancaster reluctantly started looking for clothes, and Grace Whitmore did the same. Grace Whitmore found a set of women's sportswear. Vivian Lancaster found a pair of women's casual pants and a women's hoodie, and then they changed. Ethan walked into the jungle and looked around. Near the beach, there were some mugwort bushes, and further in were some shrubs. The depths of the jungle were filled with tall trees. Ethan picked up a tree branch about 2 meters long and began patting the bushes as he slowly walked into the forest. At the edge of the forest, he found a cluster of cacti with many fruits, many of which had already ripened. Ethan quickly picked the cactus fruits, filling his backpack with the ripe ones. His hands were pricked by the cacti several times during the process. Then, Ethan turned in another direction and did not enter the forest. It was getting dark, and the situation inside the forest was unclear. He didn't know if there were any wild beasts. Ethan patted the bushes and ambled back towards the beach from another direction. Along the way, he found many palm and banana trees, but unfortunately, the banana trees had no fruit. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound to his left front. Ethan stopped immediately and listened intently. Suddenly, a snake's head emerged, flicking its tongue at Ethan. Whoa! What a thick cobra! Ethan was not only unafraid, but also excited. He slowly moved towards the cobra. He stopped when he was about 2 meters away, gripping the tree branch tightly. The cobra also reared back, its head arching in a curve, which was the prelude to an attack. Now, Ethan swung the tree branch and struck the cobra. Crack! It hit the cobra right on its vulnerable spot. The cobra's head fell to the left. Ethan dropped the branch, leaped forward, and pounced on the cobra, grabbing its head with his left hand and lifting it. Ha ha ha, so plump! Ethan laughed heartily. The snake was as thick as a child's arm and about 2.5 meters long. Possibly stunned by the blow, it writhed, its tail dragging on the ground. Ethan held the snake's head with his left hand, then wrapped its body around his arm with his right hand. He picked up the branch and the oil drum and walked back towards the beach. Upon reaching the beach, he saw the 3 women sitting under the coconut trees chatting. Ethan walked over. Look what I caught, Ethan said, holding out his left hand towards them. Ah, the 3 women screamed. Take it away and throw it away. Perhaps the snake had woken up and was constricting Ethan's left hand, causing it to become engorged and turn purple. It also flicked its tongue from time to time. The 3 women were terrified, their faces drained of color. Heh, this is a delicacy. Ethan took out his small knife, quickly severed the snake's head, and threw it into the sea. He tossed the snake's body to the side. Seeing the still wriggling body, the 3 women shrank back in fear. Chapter 15. Hurry up and throw it far away, Lily shouted. Hess, it's okay, it's already dead, Ethan said. I'll make snake meat for you tonight. I'm not eating it, it's disgusting, Vivian Lancaster said. I'm not eating it either, it's too scary, Grace Whitmore said. Exactly, we're not eating it, Lily said. Okay. Well, it's getting dark. Let's build a shelter while there's still daylight, Ethan said. Okay, the 3 women stood up together. All right, how do we do it? Lily asked. The 3 women looked at Ethan. Oh, well, you go over there and pick some leaves. There are some palm trees and banana trees over there. Ethan pointed in the direction they had come from. Okay, let's go, Lily called out. Wait a moment. Take these sticks and beat the bushes. It can help ward off some snakes, insects, and small animals. Ethan handed Lily a branch. Got it, Lily replied, taking it. Ethan walked towards the reef area to the north, while the 3 women headed into the jungle. Ethan surveyed the reef area, looking for a suitable spot. Suddenly, he spotted a large reef, 5 to 6 meters high and 7 to 8 meters wide, sloping southwards. This was a good location. Ethan searched for marine debris around the reef area. There was quite a lot of marine debris here. Bamboo, wood, buoys, foam boards, rotten fishing nets. He collected a lot of debris and placed it under the reef. The three women also returned, each carrying a lot of large leaves. "Ethan, are these leaves enough?" Grace Whitmore asked. The three women put down the leaves. "Yes, they are," Ethan said. "What should we do next?" Lily asked. You go pick some dry grass, and then collect some marine debris." "Okay." The three women turned and left. Ethan picked up about a dozen bamboo poles and laid them side by side on the ground, with about 20 centimeters between each pole. He then took 3 more bamboo poles and placed them horizontally across the others, one in the middle and one at each end. He found a rotten fishing net and used his small knife to unravel some rope. He used the rope to tie all the bamboo poles together, then laid the leaves on top and tied them down as well. By this time, it was getting dark. The three women had also collected a lot of marine debris and a pile of dry grass. "Well, let's go get the suitcase and the coconuts," Ethan said, heading towards the coconut trees. The three women followed behind. There were 14 coconuts in total. The three women each carried 4, and Ethan put 2 in his backpack. Carrying the suitcase, he picked up the dead snake and walked back with the oil drum. Seeing Ethan carrying the dead snake, the three women kept their distance. After placing the items down, Ethan said, "Well, let's lift this and prop it up here." Ethan lifted the tied bamboo and leaves, and the three women came to help. The bamboo was propped diagonally against the reef, forming a perfect A-frame shelter. It had a decent amount of space inside, but it was open at both ends. Ethan picked up some wooden boards to block the eastern exit, but the top was still open. He then tied some more leaves to it, blocking the opening. He left an exit facing the sea. "Yay!" Lily jumped up happily and ran to Ethan, planting a smack on his cheek. Ethan touched the spot where he had been kissed. "I was just too excited," Lily said, her face blushing. Grace Whitmore gave her a knowing look. Vivian Lancaster remained expressionless, still aloof. "You girls can lay these foam boards inside. It will be more comfortable to sleep on tonight," Ethan said, then placed the suitcase inside. The three women arranged the inside of the shelter. The space inside was large enough to comfortably accommodate 5 or 6 people. Chapter 16. Ethan Blackwood found a piece of rotten wood outdoors and used a small knife to drill a small hole. He then found a branch and sharpened one end to a point. He spread leaves on the ground, placed the wood on top, positioned the sharpened end of the branch into the small hole, and vigorously rubbed the branch up and down with his hands. After a while, Lily Everhart came out and curiously asked Ethan Blackwood, "What are you doing?" The other 2 women, having finished setting up the shelter, also came out to watch Ethan Blackwood. "Making fire by friction," Ethan Blackwood replied. "Can you really start a fire?" Lily Everhart asked doubtfully. "You'll see," he said. It's smoking." "It's smoking," Lily Everhart exclaimed after a moment. The smoke grew thicker. Ethan Blackwood grabbed a handful of dry grass, transferred the embers from the leaves onto it, cupped the dry grass in his hands, and blew on it with his mouth. Soon, with a whoosh, it ignited. "Yay!" Lily Everhart jumped up again. Ethan Blackwood set down the flame, added more dry grass, then some dead twigs, and after a while added thicker pieces of wood. And the fire grew larger. The 3 women looked at Ethan Blackwood with admiration. The 4 of them sat around the campfire. Ethan Blackwood whittled several bamboo skewers from a piece of bamboo and then brought over the dead snake. The 3 women were so scared they hid far away. Ethan Blackwood skinned the dead snake and placed it on the leaves. He then took it to the sea to wash it, discarding the internal organs into the ocean. Returning to the campfire, he sat down, cut the snake meat into several pieces, threaded them onto the skewers, making over a dozen skewers in total. He picked up 4 skewers and placed them over the fire to roast. The 3 women watched Ethan Blackwood busy himself with a look of disgust. Soon, a fragrant aroma wafted out. The 3 women watched the sizzling, oily meat skewers and couldn't help but swallow. Ethan Blackwood picked up a skewer, took a bite and ate it, deliberately smacking his lips. It's cooked. And it's delicious. Ethan Blackwood handed the other 3 skewers to the women. They shook their heads, looking at the golden brown roasted skewers. Finally, Lily Everhart couldn't resist and took one, closed her eyes, and took a bite. It smells so good, Lily Everhart said. Sister Fang, Sister Yan, it's really delicious, just without salt. You should all eat some too. After that, no one could resist the power of delicious food. Ethan Blackwood roasted the remaining skewers, and the 4 of them shared and finished them. Well, how about some coconut milk, one for each of you? Okay. The 3 women replied. Ethan Blackwood opened 2 coconuts and handed one to Lily Everhart and another to Vivian Lancaster. Lily Everhart drank a few sips and passed it to Grace Whitmore, who finished the rest. Vivian Lancaster drank slowly, and after a few sips, with a blush, she passed it to Ethan Blackwood. Ethan Blackwood didn't mind and drank it all. Brother Yuan, why didn't you pick all the coconuts? You left 2 on each tree, Lily Everhart asked. Leaving a little hope, Ethan Blackwood replied. Sister Fang, Sister Yan, how did you survive? How did you get here? Lily Everhart asked. After the accident, I fainted. When I woke up, I was on this beach, and Mr. Jiang was there too. We've been looking for seafood to eat. Grace Whitmore said. Let's put the coconuts inside, Ethan Blackwood said, picking up 2 coconuts and walking into the shelter. The 3 women put the coconuts inside together. Ethan Blackwood took out his backpack again, and the 4 of them sat down. Let's have some dessert, Ethan Blackwood said, opening his backpack and handing it to the 3 women. He then took out a prickly pear cactus fruit and began to peel it. What is this? Lily Everhart asked. Prickly pear cactus fruit, Ethan Blackwood replied. As he spoke, he took a bite. It's sweet and sour, really delicious. Delicious, it's a bit like dragon fruit. Lily Everhart also peeled one and ate it. After that, the 3 women began to peel and eat the prickly pear cactus fruit. Chapter 17. Sister Fang, Yuanyuan, do you need to go relieve yourselves? Vivian Lancaster asked with a flushed face. Let's go together. Lily Everhart said, You're not allowed to peek. Ethan Blackwood was speechless. The 3 women got up, laughing, and walked away together. Ethan Blackwood found some wooden planks and spread them out by the campfire. He then laid some foam boards on top. He took a foam float and cut it in half with a bamboo slice, using 1/2 as a pillow, and lay down. From a distance, he could hear the chirping sounds of the 3 women. Let's do it here, the 3 women said, approaching a cluster of rocks behind the moonlight. Wow, Sister Fang. Your pee is so strong, Lily Everhart exclaimed. You little brat, are you looking for a fight? Grace Whitmore scolded with a red face, glancing back at the campfire. Can't you be quieter? Hee, it's okay, it's so far away. He can't hear, Lily Everhart giggled. Huh. What's wrong? Grace Whitmore and Vivian Lancaster looked at her again. Lily Everhart deliberately put on a surprised expression and said, Sister Yan, I discovered a problem with you. What problem? Vivian Lancaster asked. Confused. I think you've probably never had a boyfriend. How do you know that? How did you find out? Vivian Lancaster looked at her blankly. Because Sister Fang is married. And you are a bit different from Sister Fang. How are we different? The 2 women looked at each other, then turned to look at her in confusion. I found out. Lily Everhart deliberately paused. Oh, you little brat. Hurry up and say it, Grace Whitmore scolded. Lily Everhart finished adjusting her pants, leaned over and whispered, I found out that Sister Yan's pee is even stronger than Sister Fang's. Ha ha ha. After saying this, she burst into laughter and turned to run. Ah, you pervert, freak. Vivian Lancaster's face turned red instantly. Oh, you little brat, I'll beat you to death. Grace Whitmore jumped up and chased after her. Quick, President Jiang. Catch her. Okay, the two women chased after her. As they neared the campfire, they saw Ethan Blackwood lying there. Lily Everhart stopped immediately and raised her hands, saying, Okay, I surrender, sisters. Spare me. Little brat, next time I'll beat you to death, Grace Whitmore said fiercely. Yes, thank you, esteemed warrior. For sparing my life. Heh. Lily Everhart quickly bowed obsequiously. Lily Everhart quietly walked up to Ethan Blackwood and crouched down, seeing that his eyes were closed. She thought he was asleep and tiptoed over to take the other half of the pillow that Ethan Blackwood had cut. The three of them then walked into the shelter together. Ethan Blackwood opened his eyes, sat up, then found another foam float. He cut it vertically with a bamboo slice and took it to the entrance of the shelter. Here's this for you to use as a pillow. Just make do with it. He then turned back and lay down. Two hands stretched out from the shelter and took the pillow. After a while, laughter could be heard. This is surviving on a deserted island. It's almost midnight. And they're this excited, Ethan Blackwood thought, looking at his watch. He then threw a thick piece of wood into the campfire, lay down, and dozed off drowsily. At this time, the three women were still chattering away in the shelter. They spread the foam boards on the ground, lay on them, and talked in low voices. Sister Fang, don't call me President Jiang anymore. Just call me Xiao Yan or Yan Yan. Calling me President Jiang feels so awkward, Vivian Lancaster said. Xiao Yan. Have you really never dated? Grace Whitmore asked. I don't know if it counts as dating or not. What happened? Lily Everhart looked up, her face full of gossip, as she gazed at Vivian Lancaster. Chapter 18. When I was studying in Country M, I met a male classmate from Country M. We were together for less than 2 months before I returned. We broke up due to cultural differences. It's been almost half a year since we broke up, Vivian Lancaster said. So, did you guys, Lily Everhart asked. What do you mean? We never even held hands. Speaking of which, what do you know, you little kid? Grace Whitmore scolded. Sister Fang, are you really married? Vivian Lancaster asked. I'm divorced now. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. We just didn't spend much time together. And we divorced due to personality incompatibility. It's been a year since the divorce, Grace Whitmore said. Sister Fang's ex-husband was a pilot. And he was so handsome. The girls who chased him early on could form several blocks-long queues, Lily Everhart said. What do you know, you little kid? Speaking of which, haven't you never dated either? You were just saying Yan's pee is strong earlier, Grace Whitmore said. Vivian Lancaster's face turned bright red again. That's different. She's a young girl in her prime. A beautiful maiden in her blooming years, Lily Everhart said, holding her cheeks with her small hands, looking smug. Are you implying we're very old? Grace Whitmore asked fiercely. That's not what I meant. Heavy. Then let me ask you, have you fallen for Ethan Blackwood? Grace Whitmore asked. Don't be ridiculous, how could I? Lily Everhart denied. Still not. Look at the way you look at Ethan Blackwood with those infatuated eyes. And you still won't admit it. At this moment, Vivian Lancaster also turned to look at Lily Everhart. Then tell me, how did you meet, and how did you end up on this island? Grace Whitmore asked again. Lily Everhart then recounted the events after the accident, when she got to the part where they encountered a shark while swimming. The two women's faces turned pale. Only after she explained that they had managed to reach the shore safely did the two women heave a sigh of relief. Grace Whitmore, being older and having more life experience, said, Let me say something, and you must remember it. Go ahead, Lily Everhart said, and Vivian Lancaster nodded in agreement. Grace Whitmore lowered her voice and said, Ethan Blackwood is the only man among us. He also built this shelter, and we didn't contribute much. Moreover, he let us live in it while he slept outside, which shows his good character. based on what Yuanyuan said. Ethan Blackwood has strong survival skills in the wilderness. The two women nodded in agreement. Grace Whitmore continued, "We don't know when the rescue team will arrive. Before they arrive, we need to save ourselves and survive." The two women looked thoughtfully at Grace Whitmore. "People like Ethan Blackwood are rare. Therefore, we must stick close to him and not let him out of our sight, wherever he goes. Someone must follow. We are his burdens. If he abandoned us and left on his own, it would be understandable," Grace Whitmore said, then stared at the other two women. "No way," Lily Everhart said uncertainly. "All right. People's hearts are unpredictable. We'll just be careful from now on," Grace Whitmore said. Vivian Lancaster seemed to be thinking about something. Lily Everhart also fell into thought. The three women fell silent. As dawn broke, Ethan Blackwood woke up from the cold. He checked his watch. It was almost 6 o'clock, although it was a tropical island. The sea breeze in the morning was still quite cool. The campfire had gone out. Ethan Blackwood stretched and walked towards the jungle. He took care of his personal needs behind the tall grass and then carefully took his suitcase out of the shelter, seeing that the three women were still fast asleep. He went out, opened the suitcase, and took out his toiletries to wash up by the sea. Chapter 19. After washing up, Ethan Blackwood put his toiletries back into the suitcase, seeing that the three women were still asleep. He sat down by the extinguished campfire and began to ponder. He didn't know when the rescue team would arrive. To survive, a series of problems needed to be solved. Shelter and clothing could only be considered barely resolved. The remaining issues were mainly food and water. Although there were over a dozen coconuts, they wouldn't last long. Moreover, eating too many coconuts could cause diarrhea, and getting sick on the island could be fatal. The suitcase contained some medicine for emergencies. He still needed to venture deeper into the jungle to try his luck. After all, the trees were dense there, and there were bound to be many opportunities. With this thought, Ethan Blackwood stood up and began searching the reef for marine debris. Mineral water bottles, rotten fishing nets, bamboo poles, rotten wood, tin cans, milk powder cans, and so on. Anything that felt useful he picked up. After a while, the three women woke up and came out to see Ethan Blackwood scavenging. He had already collected a large pile. Vivian Lancaster curled her lips disdainfully. "Brother Yuan, did you used to collect junk?" "Ha ha ha," Lily Everhart said. "These things will definitely be useful," Ethan Blackwood said, putting down a bundle of bamboo poles. Ethan Blackwood began to sort through the pile of items. Then he said, "You should go wash up. After that, we'll eat something." "Okay," Lily Everhart replied. The three women went together to the tall grass to take care of their personal needs, then returned with their toiletry bags to wash up by the sea. Ethan Blackwood put away the sorted items, then picked up a Chinese letter bamboo pole and used a small knife to sharpen it into several thin bamboo strips. He then took apart a broken fishing net and used the fine strings to mend a hole in the fishing net and the thin bamboo strips. The three women finished washing up and gathered around to watch Ethan Blackwood working. "What are you doing?" Lily Everhart asked. "Making a fish trap." "Fish trap?" The three women looked confused. You'll see soon." The three women watched as Ethan Blackwood quickly made a cage, about 1 meter long, with a small opening at one end. He then used a mineral water bottle, cutting off the bottom and the mouth. He then made several vertical cuts at the bottle's mouth and tied it to the opening of the cage. He also tied a rope about 10 meters long to one end of the fish trap. He picked up the fish trap and a mineral water bottle and walked to the seaside, with the three women following curiously behind him. Ethan Blackwood found some small seashells on the reef, smashed them with a stone, put them into the mineral water bottle, and capped it. He used a small knife to poke several holes in the mineral water bottle, placed the bottle inside the fish trap, and added a few stones. He threw the fish trap forcefully into the sea, tying the rope to a reef. Turning around, he saw the 3 women looking at him with admiration. Ethan Blackwood rubbed his nose and said, let's go back and eat something." The group returned to the shelter. Ethan Blackwood said, "2 people per coconut. Let's eat some coconut meat and prickly pear cactus fruit." "Okay." The 4 of them shared 2 coconuts. Ethan Blackwood smashed the 2 coconuts from the previous night with a stone and divided them. So each person had 1. Each of them also ate several prickly pear cactus fruits. You guys rest for a bit. I'm going to explore the jungle," Ethan Blackwood said, standing up. "Wait a moment, I have a suggestion," Grace Whitmore said. "What suggestion?" Ethan Blackwood sat back down. "There are 4 of us now, and you are the only man. Why don't you be our captain? From now on, if there's anything to do, just give us instructions." "Okay." Isn't that appropriate?" Ethan Blackwood said. "I agree," Lily Everhart raised her hand. "I agree too," Vivian Lancaster said. "You see, we all agree. It's just temporary anyway. When the rescue team arrives, our team will automatically disband," Grace Whitmore said. "All right then." Chapter 20. "If you're going into the jungle, we're going with you," Grace Whitmore said. The other 2 women nodded in agreement. Only Yuanyuan is wearing hiking shoes. You 2 are both wearing high heels, which will be inconvenient in the jungle," Ethan Blackwood said with a frown. "Then how about I go with you and they wait here?" Lily Everhart said. "No. If there's any danger inside, you won't be able to run away," Ethan Blackwood said. "Aren't there 2 more pairs of shoes in the suitcase?" Lily Everhart pouted. "All right then." Lily Everhart took out 2 pairs of shoes. Canvas shoes and sports shoes. Both size 42. You guys pick for yourselves. The 2 women looked at each other. Ethan Blackwood found a t-shirt in the suitcase and cut it into strips with a small knife. He stuffed them into the 2 pairs of shoes. The 2 women suddenly understood. Then Vivian Lancaster put on the sports shoes, and Grace Whitmore put on the canvas shoes. The 2 women stood up and walked a couple of steps to try them out. They were okay. Although not very comfortable, they wouldn't hinder their actions. "All right, let's set off," Ethan Blackwood said, pouring the prickly pear cactus fruit out of his backpack. Yuan, this backpack still belongs to you. We'll take a few bottles." "Okay." Lily Everhart put a few bottles into the backpack and happily put it on. Ethan Blackwood carried a peanut oil barrel and a tree branch, and the 4 of them set off. Ethan Blackwood swatted at the grass as the 4 of them slowly walked deeper. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, the 4 of them stopped. Ethan Blackwood said, "Just ahead is the forest. It's very dense inside, and there might be poisonous insects and ferocious beasts. Everyone must be careful." "Got it," the 3 women replied. Just as the 4 of them were about to enter, a motor sound suddenly rang out. "Listen, the motor sound," Lily Everhart exclaimed. "Could it be the rescue team?" Vivian Lancaster asked joyfully. "Is it the rescue team? Then let's hurry back," Grace Whitmore said. Quick, quick." Quick, the 4 of them stopped swatting at the grass and rushed towards the seaside. They leaped over the bushes and reached the tall grass. Ahead were the reefs, with the beach on the left. "Stop, wait a moment," Ethan Blackwood said at this time. "What's wrong?" The 3 women, who were running slower, stopped together and asked. "Something's not right. Let's observe the situation first." "What could be wrong? Even if it's not the rescue team, we can still ask for help," Vivian Lancaster said. "No. Listen to me. Let's figure out the situation before going out. You just don't want to leave. You're the only man on this island, and you want the 3 of us beautiful women to accompany you. Right, you don't just want to be captain. You want to be emperor," Vivian Lancaster said. Ethan Blackwood looked at her in shock. Vivian Lancaster snorted and walked past. Lily Everhart and Grace Whitmore also walked past. They stood beside Ethan Blackwood, and both looked at him with apologetic glances. The three women walked towards the reef. Ethan Blackwood shook his head helplessly, walked to the edge of the tall grass, pushed aside the grass, and peeked out to observe the sea. To the north, an oil tanker was sailing, followed by 4 speedboats rapidly heading south. The boats were getting closer. And soon the situation became clear. There were 7 or 8 people standing on the deck of the oil tanker, each carrying an AK-47. Each of the 4 speedboats had 3 people, 1 driving and 2 holding guns. Not good. Pirates, Ethan Blackwood thought. The 3 women were walking quickly towards the seaside from the reef, due to the obstruction of the rocks. They didn't notice the situation. The boats were moving fast and soon passed by. The 3 women saw the stern of the boats. Fortunately, the pirates didn't discover them. Phew, Ethan Blackwood exhaled. His heart finally at ease. He walked to the shelter, looked at his watch. It was 10 o'clock. He picked up a coconut, sat down, and chugged it down after smashing it open. The 3 women walked over, looking at him awkwardly. I'm sorry. Vivian Lancaster mumbled, wishing she could find a hole to crawl into.